mystery.
Hold tight and prepare for a big horror experience. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
I haven't told this story to many people. Honestly, every time I remember it, I get that same cold shiver down my neck that I felt back then, like someone is watching me while I speak. But I'll try to tell it exactly how it happened, because to this day I haven't found an explanation that makes sense. This happened when I was around 16. I lived with my mom and dad in a small house at the end of a dead-end street. My dad worked the night shift, so he usually came home around 2:30, 3 in the morning. And he almost always used the back door because the front door made too much noise. I was used to it. That night, it was exactly 3 a.m. when I heard 3 knocks at the back door. It wasn't aggressive, just slow, rhythmic knocks, like someone casually announcing they were there. I remember I was in my room, half asleep, and I thought, oh, that must be Dad. He's late today. I went downstairs, still groggy. The whole house was silent, except for the wind rattling the fence outside. The knocks came again, faint, but clear enough to make me walk faster. When I got to the kitchen, I turned on the light. The back door had a small frosted glass window that just showed a blurry silhouette of whoever was outside. And that's when I froze. The silhouette wasn't my dad. It was taller, much taller. I stood there for a few seconds, thinking maybe it was a neighbor, someone needing help, something like that. But something felt wrong. The person didn't speak, didn't call out, didn't move. They just knocked. Once, then again. And then stood perfectly still. By then, I was fully awake. But even so, I went to the door. I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe I thought the person was in trouble. I unlocked the door, opened it, and immediately regretted it. The man was there, standing still, facing my backyard, as if he was staring at something I couldn't see. He didn't turn toward me, didn't say a word, didn't ask for help. He just breathed, heavy, shaky breaths, like someone who was terrified, or freezing, or both. I remember feeling completely paralyzed. I didn't know if I should call out to him, close the door, run. I just stood there, watching this man stare into nothing. Then I noticed something that made my blood turn cold. He was trembling. Not like someone shivering from cold, but like someone physically resisting something. His breathing was uneven, as if he was struggling to stay upright. I stepped back, and only then did he begin to move his head, slowly, as if he had sensed my movement. But he still didn't turn around. It was as if he was about to look somewhere specific but got stuck halfway through. I can't explain it. It was unnatural. I slammed the door shut, locked it, and ran to the phone. I called the police with my hands shaking, trying to explain that a strange man was in my backyard, that he looked in shock, that he wouldn't communicate, and that I was alone with my mom sleeping in the other room. While I talked, I heard another sound outside, but it wasn't knocking. It was something being dragged through the grass. I hung up and went to the living room window that gave a partial view of the yard. It was dark, extremely dark, but the kitchen light illuminated a small area, and he wasn't there anymore. The police arrived in about 10 minutes. They went out with flashlights, weapons drawn, searched the whole backyard, and then one of them called the others. They found bare footprints in the grass, large, deep ones, as if the person had been heavier than they should be, as if something was pushing them down. And worse, the footprints led toward the woods behind my house, and then stopped, right there, in the open. Nothing but flattened grass, as if the man had been pulled backward with great force, or simply ceased to exist at that point. The police never found out who he was, or where he came from, or what he had been looking at, but I never forgot how he trembled, like he was reacting to something right behind him, something I couldn't see, and that maybe, in that moment, could see me. Even now, when I look out at the backyard at night, I get the same feeling, that something was out there that night. Not just the man, but whatever made him knock on my door, shaking, silent, as if he was trying to escape something invisible.
I grew up in an old house, the kind that smells like aged wood and has stairs that creak no matter how lightly you step. It looked nice from the outside, but inside, well, let's just say it had a way of making you feel watched, especially the basement. The basement was big, full of old shelves, cardboard boxes, tools, and a darkness that always felt deeper than it should, even with the light on. I avoided going down there. Always did. But as a kid, I constantly heard noises coming from it. My excuse was always the same. It's the pipes. It's the wood. It's just an old house. Until one night, when I was about 13, my parents went out to a party and left me home alone. It was a cold, rainy night, the kind that makes the whole house creak. I was watching TV in the living room when I heard footsteps. Slow footsteps, heavy ones, coming from underneath the house, coming exactly from the place I least wanted to hear anything, the basement. I paused the TV, listened, and the footsteps kept going, like someone taking a few steps, stopping, then taking a few more. My first reaction was to try to convince myself it was nothing. I gathered enough courage to walk to the basement door. I put my ear against it, and that's when I heard it for the first time. A whisper. A man's whisper. Deep. Raspy. And it said my name. It wasn't shouted. It wasn't shy. It was direct. Like someone calling a person they knew well. I froze. My stomach twisted. And I felt this cold, hollow breath on the back of my neck, even though nobody was behind me. The whisper came again, and again, slower each time, more deliberate, more present. I ran. I tried opening the door, but it wouldn't budge. It was locked, but from the outside, I pulled, kicked, threw my weight against it. Nothing. It was like someone was holding the doorknob tightly on the other side. And then the footsteps started again. Only now they were coming directly toward me. Heavy, dragging steps, almost thoughtful, as if whoever was down there knew I had nowhere else to go. I screamed, pounded on the door, begged for help, even though I knew no one could hear me. The footsteps got so close I felt them vibrate through the stairs, and then the whisper came back. But this time, it wasn't saying my name. It was laughing. A low, muffled laugh, like it was enjoying my fear. I curled up in the corner of the stairs, trembling, crying, feeling that presence creep closer and closer. And suddenly, silence. A silence so deep that my own heartbeat sounded loud. I stayed there curled up for nearly 30 minutes. 30 minutes of complete terror, surrounded by that heavy, suffocating silence, waiting for something to touch me. When my parents finally came home, I practically jumped on them. The door opened easily, as if it had never been locked. I never went down to that basement again. We moved a few years later, but some nights, I still wake up with that same chill, that same voice. Because sometimes, when the house is quiet and I'm about to fall asleep, I still hear someone whispering my name.